Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Bishop of the Bird Nick, and with me today, we have Oliver Nivaud. He's the Director of Sales at United Cigars. How the hell you doing, Oliver?
Hanging and holding strong.
There you go.
It's a Thursday, so we're all getting ready for the PCA here, and so just not necessarily wrapping things up, but there are deadlines to meet, to ship product out, and booth designs and images that need to be printed, and all that good stuff. So even though it is a little less than a month away, we still have to kind of wrap things up here quickly.
Yeah, that's what, the 7th through the 11th of July, correct?
Correct. I think the seminars start on the 7th, the show floor opens on the 8th, and then it all wraps up on the 11th. Yeah.
Okay. So you're like 3 weeks out at this point, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So down to the wire.
Yeah.
Well, today,
that's it.
Yeah. Well, today we've got all kinds of updates from United Cigars that I want to get to. And the first of which I figured we'd talk about, because it's what I'm going to be smoking, is the fact that there's been a bit of a change to the core line. You guys have introduced round versions of of that. Would you want to expand upon that and kind of tell us what's going on?
Yeah. So what kind of first, the United was a line that was first introduced as a box press, and it was fantastic. I loved it when I started in 2016 with United and smoked it, and I was a big fan, and it was doing well for us. There was a particular tobacco, the Brazilian Mata Fina, that we were using, just became harder to source, and it's already a small yield on that tobacco to begin with, and we just decided to kind of maybe play around with some new blends, and then we started reintroducing the cigar bar, and we did that with the Aladino.
Yes.
So we box pressed that. So it was interesting to see what a round and box press comparison would be. And then we played around with Rocky Patel. We had the Rocky Patel silver bar. So during that time, and my travels down to the factory, I thought, why not play around with the United in the round to see what that could be? And I lean more towards a round than a box press, and I think it's safe to say that in the industry as a whole, round is more accepted as a cigar size. But
I actually
the box press does. Yeah,
I'm the same way. I lean towards the round versus the box press. It's a mouthfeel thing. It's just kind of one of those things. It just feels more right as the round. But yeah,
and not to say that the box press is a bad concept. Obviously, it's proven itself for many manufacturers, and it does very well for them. But for us, for the United, when I played around with the new blends and working with different tobaccos, the United in the round just outperformed for me the box press. So we started to realize that that's the direction that we wanted to go in. So this year, we just started shipping that out to retailers. The United in the round hit the market, and it's a completely new blend, but still in that flavor profile that I'd say it's safe medium, and then the Maduro's maybe a medium plus. What we call the natural uses an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, so it's got a little bit of spice on there, but still subdued a little bit. We started using Dominican broadleaf. I found that to be not the prettiest of leaves, but really hearty, rich, full, and offset that with some tobacco from Quisqueya, also more Dominican tobacco, and it just kind of softened everything, made it a little bit sweet and earthy and rich. So between the natural line, the Ecuadorian Habano, and the Mexican San Andres on the Maduro, I think it gives a good balance between the two.
Fantastic. And are you guys going to continue to offer the box press versions, or have you just switched to the round?
We've completely switched it over.
Okay. No, that's fair. I was wondering for those
fair,
people who do like the box press, but
right.
like I said, I prefer the round, so I'm happy. So
Yeah.
well, I want to get this thing going. So it's time to cut the cigar.
Fire it up.
Official cutting is brought to you by Dan the Man Ponder over there at Riverman Cigar Company. He's got all kinds of great cigars in the humidor, including some kind of hard to find stuff. If you're in the on the hunt for maybe some Aladino Corojo Reserva number 4s from last November, he's still got some of those rattling around in the humidor there, as well as the Candela that came out earlier this year that was a limited release for some of the stores through Aladino. He's got all kinds of other great cigars there. And guys, he's got that 1,500 square foot covered patio out front for you to sit outside, enjoy the weather, and have that cigar if you don't want to sit in the lounge, because he's got the lounge too. Anyway, if you're in the St. Louis area, swing by Riverman Cigar Company and check him out. And if you're not, he does do mail orders, so you can give him a call and place an order right away. That's Riverman Cigar Company of Crestwood, Missouri. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut my cigar. So what are you smoking there?
I'm well, in a way treating myself, but I got lucky. I was taking some pictures.
Ooh.
And it just so happened that the Byron 1850 number 2, the Torpedo, was one that I was taking pictures of, and unfortunately this one dropped. And,
oh no!
So I hit just on the head. It was nice, and I was able to kind of surgically, cut it just at the end. Still smokable, but
it's damaged. You can't put that back.
I can't put it back.
No.
So this is a treat. When you're in the United portfolio, we're distributors of selected tobacco, and that's Atabey, Byron, Bandolero. Then the Alfonso that Añejo we just launched last year, the Grand Selection Alfonso that will be at this year's PCA show, and then the Byron 1850 that was launched last year. So we're distributors of that, and I say that because this is more the luxury side of the cigar industry. So you have an elevated price, but that comes with the aging process that Nelson puts his cigars through. So this isn't something that I'm smoking every day, 2 or 3 of.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's a limited production. And we have an extensive portfoldio, so I really like to spread the love. It's like you can't favor one kid in the in the family. You gotta love them all.
You just can't do it publicly.
Right.
Well, very good. So all right, we've talked a little bit about the round United Cigars. That was the first thing I wanted to get to, since obviously I'm smoking one. But the next big thing I have on my list of things that I want to touch on with you is we are approaching kind of the annual release of the Firecracker that comes out right around the 4th of July. And let's talk a little bit about this year's Firecracker.
Yeah, so this year, look, every year is special, and I it's not that I catch myself saying that, but every year is very special because we work with a different manufacturer. We have our United Firecracker, that's our regular production. This year at the show, we're relaunching the Firecracker Black Bomb, which is the Maduro version of the Firecracker. So we have our regular line of Firecracker in the United portfolio, but then throughout the year, we have limited releases. But this particular one for the 4th of July is with EP Carrillo. So just a man that I have incredible respect for. An excellent factory, beautiful tobacco. In fact, a very good friend of Nelson Alfonso, Jorge Mikey, is working side by side with Ernesto. And Mikey was from Cuba, worked with Nelson on a few things, incredibly knowledgeable in the tobacco industry, and another guy that's behind the scene that doesn't look for all the accolades and doesn't look for all the podcasts, but he's the man that is working side by side with Ernesto, and I think they've put out some incredible stuff this year. And so they reworked the EPC pledge, which was already a fantastic cigar. But when you're working with
fantastic,
3.5 by 50, you do have to make, subtle changes, and they wanted to amp it up a little bit because it is the Firecracker. So, when I think that was back in, may have been, it was sometime last year, probably around this time, where we started working on the blends, and then we finalized everything in the fall, and super excited for everybody to try this Firecracker because it is special. It represents the line for them, but then it also represents the Firecracker as well. So it just started shipping this week to retailers. So there might be some that maybe it lands today. If not, it will start landing next week, and just in time for the 4th of July. So I'm excited to get everyone's feedback on it.
Fantastic. So then let's walk through the process of collaborating with somebody to make a Firecracker. I mean, I assume there's guidelines that they have to follow in order to, the size and whatnot, and the wick and everything. But can you talk about that?
Yeah. So it's really, it can start with a phone call. It can start with, maybe bumping into each other at one of the shows, and it's a conversation. So it starts out that way. Who would we like to work with? And then in turn, they have to accept it and say, yeah, we'd love to work with you. We think the Firecrackers are, doing well on the market. It'd be a great representation and collaboration for our line. So it really just starts as a conversation. Then from there, obviously there are specs that need to be met, but what we want it to do is really represent the line that we're collaborating with. And then for the United side, obviously it has to be the 3.5 by 50. It has to be the Vitola. We put a secondary band because it's part of our Series Unidas arm of the company, which is the collaboration part. So, from there, it's, because I might not be going down to the factories very often. They'll either send samples to me, and we'll try them out, or in the case of EPC, I was down at the factory. We sat over in Ernesto's office. We sat there with coffee, and we tried some different samples, then went down to the factory floor, looked at some different tobaccos, and in the end just came up with the it's the Pledge blend, but like I said, just kind of tweaked a little bit. So it's really just it's a true collaboration. All right, so we work together on it, but we want the representation to be their blend, so it can introduce maybe some new cigar smokers to their line, and then also bring awareness to the Firecracker line.
Very good. So then, going back to the conversation about box press there for a minute, if you're wanting it to represent, their line and what they do, the Pledge, the Encore, the Allegiance, they're all box press cigars. Did you consider maybe making this year's Firecracker a box press Firecracker? I don't even know if that's feasible at that size.
Yeah, so it was talked about, but it was never, we never did any samples of it.
Okay.
The mold just isn't there for it, but yeah,
I figured at that
never
size it might be difficult, but would have been cool, something different,
Yeah, something different. It's been, we've talked to some other companies, and these are conversations that start well in advance. We have the next couple of years kind of lined up already, because we want the cigars produced, rested. Then obviously there's some packaging that needs to be completed on the manufacturer's end. That needs to be tweaked a little bit, and so we try to plan in advance to have these things done.
Very good. Very good. So, I mean, aside from the EP Carrillo Firecracker this year, I'm trying to think of the last time you and I chatted on here, but you had the All Saints St. Patrick's, and that
was the St. Patrick's Day, and then the with Rojas.
Yes, that's right. The street taco.
The street taco blend, and it was called the Elote.
That's right. So yeah, you guys are pumping out firecrackers left and right here. It seemed like it used to be that the 4th of July one was the collaboration one, kind of once per year, but you're introducing other ones throughout the year. Yeah,
and I think that's the beauty of the industry. If we can work together, and it's like the Firecracker in all fairness, is a sampling of a cigar in a way, but it gives you a good half hour, 40 plus minutes, depending on the smoker, but it gives you a good half hour, 45 minutes of a true cigar, but then it helps you understand what that, if you haven't smoked that manufacturer before, it gives you an understanding of what they do, and then it gives you an understanding of what the Firecracker can be.
Very cool. So let's talk about PCA. Obviously, we just talked about the upcoming Firecracker that's hitting stores right now. But PCA, it seems like it's the time that everybody unveils new stuff. Is there anything that we should be looking out for? Any teases you can give? Any information you can give about what we should be looking out for from United Cigars?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, I touched on it just earlier with the Firecracker Black Bomb. So originally that was released, back. That might have been the Black Bomb might have been 2010, 11. And then it kind of went away. I reintroduced it in packaging because I was playing around with some samples in the blend. Wanted to kind of I hit this off. Kind of reintroduce it, so I put into 5-packs, 5-pack sleeves, and then for the show, it did really well as little sample packs. But I wanted to showcase it and keep the branding there and kind of expand that Firecracker line. So it'll come in similar packaging to the box of 25, but for the Black Bomb, kind of stripped away the color scheme of the United Firecracker with the red, white, and blue, and the Black Bomb is more of a black and gold. Still has the the eagle and the shield, and has the anchor. So it's similar packaging, but it's just a line extension. So that'll be a box of 25, same price point, right around the $6 retail, and that'll be at this year's PCA. And then we're also expanding the Red Anchor line that we worked with the Kellner family and KBF factory. So Hendrik Kellner Jr. is fantastic. He's got some great tobacco. Puts out some phenomenal cigars, and we launched the Red Anchor Admiral last year, which is a 6x52, and that was for the 250th anniversary of Red Anchor. Yeah. So that's Red Anchor is a very old line, originally from Holland, and that's why we wanted to work with the Kellner family, because Henke the father is originally from Holland. The family's from Holland. So, we saw this line has, a rich history of, over 250 years now. And we launched the Toro last year. This year, we're able to do a little bit of a line extension. So we have a Captain that's a 5x50 Robusto. We have a 6x43 called the Gunner coming out, and then a Commodore that's a 7x52, so a larger one. So we have 3 additional sizes in the line that'll be at the show, and we can take we'll be taking orders for that. And then on the selected tobacco side, again, I said we distribute selected tobaccos in the United portfolio, so their booth is going to be right next door to us. But selected tobacco will be releasing the Alfonso Grand Selection this year. And the Grand Selection it's kind of the sister brother of the Alfonso Añejo that we released last year. Only 200 boxes of each size have been produced and aged, rested for over 5 years. So that's why they're ready to be released this year. Now the difference between the Gran Habano and the Añejo Alfonso is a wrapper change. So the Alfonso Añejo used the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Peruvian binder, Dominican Nicaraguan fillers, and then the Grand Selection uses the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Peruvian binder, Dominican Nicaraguan fillers. So these are a little more unique, and I'll put Byron 1850 in that category as well, because we launched the Byron 1850, which I'm smoking now, at last year's show. And I say they're unique to the selected tobacco portfolio of Adave, Byron, Bandolero, because Nelson one, the entire selected tobacco portfolio is unique already because they all go through an aging process, and it's not your typical aging, and that's why I stress process. So if we say a box of cigars is placed into a humidor, we lock that door, and we come back in 5 years, we can say that cigar is 5 years old, and that's true. It's 100% true, right? It's 5 years.
Yeah.
But a process, an aging process, is what makes his lines unique. So when you think of selected tobacco and Atabey and Byron and now the Alfonso and Byron 1850s, the process is placing the cigars after they're rolled into a humidor lined with 5 different cedars: Cuban, Spanish, Mexican, Brazilian, and Lebanese. And humidity is brought down and then raised again, so that the cigar is actually breathing in all the cedar notes. And that's for the first year. So even though the tobacco already goes through an extensive fermentation process to remove all the impurities and ammonias and everything from the tobacco, once the cigar is rolled for that first year, Nelson just wants to make sure that the cigars are completely void of any other impurities. So after that first year, the Byron 1850, the Alfonso Añejo, and the Alfonso Grand Selection are then placed into a different aging room from the other cigars. And that aging room for those lines use French oak. So that French oak has kind of changed the dynamic of the cigars as well. So they go through an additional 4 years of aging in those rooms with the French oak, again, with the humidity lowering and raising back up over the course of those, total 5 years. So you can really taste how clean the cigar becomes because it purges any other impurity. And then you can really start to taste those, those rich cedar and oaky notes in the cigars.
For sure. I actually just had a listener on an episode a couple episodes back, and his name Noah, and he had just tried an Atabey for the first time, and he was absolutely raving about it, talking about how he'd never experienced, even going to like other brands, like a Davidoff or some of these other brands. He's like, that are the higher end kind of luxury, kind of cigars. He's like, he said it's just not comparable. It's one of those things that this Atabey it's just lights out. He'd never smoked anything like it before. And the process you're describing, I mean, that's the kind of love and care that you put into something. It creates a product that is that, unique and different and wonderful.
Yeah. And it's not, look, it's a process that just doesn't seem, well, why would you need that extra step? And, because these are things I hear. Why do you need that extra step? And, it's extra aging, this company ages, or this, this tobacco's age, or this cigar's age. But until you're able to, one, experience it, and two, your palate's ready for it, I think it's hard to really describe and have somebody understand.
For sure.
And I always, I equate it to, look, if you look at, in fact, when I was, we were talking about, a press release and for the Grand Selection and how can we compare it? And I love to cook. So I just compared it to, sauce reduction. You're concentrating all those flavors, and it takes time. When you're talking about different spirits, on the shorter end, the lower end, when you look at tequila between a Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo, there's only a gap of about 2 years, but there's very distinct flavor profiles between the three. And then when you start looking at bourbons and scotches, things with 5 years of age, 10 years of age, and then what wood or what barrel are they aged in? Is it French oak? It all plays a part. So, Nelson using all of these different cedars, and then, like I said, now the French oak, it really changes what the cigar can offer. And it's still, I've never had the opportunity to smoke one that's an Atabey or anything that's just not necessarily come off the table, but either rested for a couple months, like what that difference is. But
yeah.
Smoking one after the 5 years of aging and tasting how clean it is on the palate, and you're able to taste all the different flavor notes. It's something that I really appreciate quite a bit.
That would be a really interesting kind of experiment, for lack of a better term, to get one right off the rolling table, that's new and doesn't have that age on it and everything, and compare that to one that has been through the process to see, to very clearly define what that process has done to that cigar.
Yeah. It's something that I've talked to Nelson about, and I think there's part of him being the artist that he is, and how much time and dedication, right? For him, it's not ready. No, and he's so humble that when you start to talk to him, he'll kind of laugh. He's like, no, we can't do that. No. And he just he knows it's just not there, and he wants to be the one in the kitchen trying and making sure it's right and it's ready to go. So
interesting.
It's an interesting process for sure.
Well, very cool. Well, all right. Before we get into other fun stuff here, you've touched on it in that you distribute selected tobacco, but I think just to dial it, go to the 50,000 foot level here, kind of briefly inform the listeners. United Cigars, it's you have cigars with the United Cigars branding on it, but then you also have, for example, the classic, the different classic cigars, and you distribute selected, and I know you work with Jose Dominguez. Kind of explain kind of the framework of United Cigars a little bit, and kind of it seems like it's a good melting pot of a lot of different things that have come together under one kind of umbrella brand.
Yeah. Thank you. So United as a whole, I mean, we manufacture cigars, but then we also distribute, right? And even in the cigars that we manufacture, Jose Dominguez, which is the Mahia Cubana, Tabacalera Mahia factory in Dominican, is an incredible partner. They, for us, for our direct line, they do make our classic, which is our bundle line. And it's a fantastic, incredibly well priced bundled cigar in 4 different wrappers. We have Cameroon wrapper, Connecticut, Maduro, and Cuban seed Habano. So it's it has a wide range of cigars. So that's our bundle line. That's made out of the Tabacalera Mahia factory for us. Then we make the Firecracker out of there. We make the United and the La Mezcla Cubana out of that factory. And then for Jose Dominguez, so the father had started the factory back in the 90s, and then the son, after finishing school but always working in the factory, started to take over the factory for his father, but wanted to do more of the premium side. So he started his kind of section and kind of started his own footprint and wanted to come out with a line for his father, and that was the Jose Dominguez. So the Jose Dominguez is made out of the Tabacalera Mahia factory, and then we distribute that line. And then Jose Dominguez, the daughter, Ilse Dominguez, works at the factory as well. So it's a very, hands-on family factory.
Yeah.
Her husband, Carlos Guillermo, who has been on the show before,
yes,
created the Yaya line. So the Yaya line is made out of the Tabacalera Mahia factory, which is in our portfolio, and we just launched last year, and that's been doing really well.
It's fantastic.
He's part of the family and works out of the factory, but we distribute his line. And then they also have a line called Hightower, which is their big ring gauge cigar. So they have a 6x60, 662, their torpedo, and a 770 size. So they're that's the big ring gauge, three different sizes. So that's another brand that is theirs, but we distribute. And then when you go outside of that and into still in the United portfolio, the La Giana, which has been around for almost 30 years now, and she got a little bit of a facelift a couple of years ago now, but that's made in Honduras at the Camacho factory, under the Davidoff watch, and so quality is fantastic on it. The tobacco is great. The cigar is a nice, between the three different blends, the cigars falls right in that mild to medium category. We have the La Giana Natural, using Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, around a Honduran blend. Then the Maduro uses Mexican San Andres, and then we have the Angelic, which is a sweet tip cigar. So what we try to do too, when you look at the whole United portfolio, the La Giana line actually has the Natural is in red boxes, the Angelic's in white cream boxes, and then the Maduro's in a blue box. So when that is presented on the shelf, you'll have the red, white, and blue, right? So that matches the United. And then when you look at like the Firecracker band, there's an eagle on the front, but underneath the eagle there's a red anchor, which then ties into the red anchor line. So they all kind of play a little bit of a story, but in the United portfolio, to go back to the original question, we have cigars that, like I said, that we manufacture quite a few. It's an extensive portfolio. We have cigars that range from the bundle, even lower. Our United pencil, which is the size of a number 2 pencil, is a great long cigarillo, but that retails for right around $2. So we have everything from $2 all the way up to $75. We have Dominican, Honduran. In fact, we have a Nicaraguan blend that's made at the Perdomo factory, and that's the Garofalo. The Garofalo La Familia we have a Connecticut, a sun-grown, and a Maduro. The sun-grown and the Maduro are 2 Nicaraguan puros, and then the Connecticut uses an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. But it's a beautiful, nice, solid, medium bodied cigar, hearty, but not overpowering. But the Connecticut will surprise you for sure.
I'm a big fan of that sun-grown, honestly. I tried that when I was up at Two Guys in September for the anniversary party, and I couldn't get enough of that sun-grown. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
fantastic.
But we try to work with people that will, one, want to work with us, but 2, that are friendly and we get along with, and they're they are truly family. And working with Perdomo and the Perdomo team, it's Arthur and Nick, it's incredible. They have an incredible eye for to detail. So we know the cigars coming out of there are always fantastic. Construction's great. The tobacco use is fantastic. So there's no switch up, which can happen sometimes.
Fantastic. Well, let's move on to some other business here, and we'll get into this now.
We all need to live united, but one must go. Brought to you by United Cigars, makers of La Giana Havana, Abuelo, Red Anchor, Firecracker, and of course, United Cigars. Distributors of Jose Dominguez, Garofalo, Montosa, and Terra Nova, and the highly acclaimed Atabey, Byron, and Bandolero. Buy United, Smoke United, Live United, United Cigars.
So Oliver, I know you're a taco fan.
Sure.
I've heard you're a fan of all things taco, street taco, whatever. And so I've got one for you here, and I don't know. This may be a very easy question for you. It may be a difficult question for you. I don't know, but one must go. I'm going to give you 5 options here. We're going big. We've got Al Pastor, Barbacoa, Carne Asada, Carnitas, and Chorizo.
As a taco, the chorizo is a bit of a challenge sometimes. I love it in a burrito.
It can be messy. You're right.
It can be a little extra messy. The Al Pastor, no, I can't. Carne asada, no. Barbacoa is I don't always go to that, but that's fantastic. And then chorizo, what was the 4th one?
Carnitas. Yeah,
carnitas. No, not a chance. That's top of my list. not a chance.
See, that was my thing. It's like, if I think we've got 2 beef, 2 pork, and then chorizo here. And so, I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I got to cut something, I mean, I can see your argument for chorizo. Al Pastor was probably going to be what?
No, yeah, well, I was going to say only in a taco, but yeah, go ahead. So Al Pastor was
yeah, this probably good for me because you know, I have carnitas in the list still, so it's like I can still get carnitas, but yeah,
but the Al Pastor is such a, you know, it's the style, it's the, you know, it's what people look for in, you know, in an authentic you know, taqueria. It's yeah, I mean that's the cone. It's just a stack of meat that's, you know, grilling, everything's dripping on, you know, from the top down, and it's you know, you can't, I can't, but yeah, good, you know, good Al Pastor is phenomenal. But
So
yeah, I'd say just in a taco, I'd have to go with chorizo.
See, I always like to add chorizo to other things. I feel like chorizo by itself is, I mean, and maybe I'm just not getting great chorizo, but you know, the salt level is usually fairly high with chorizo, and you know, it can be kind of messy, and so I tend to like to add chorizo to other, you know, protein elements within a dish.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know, just a thought.
No, yeah, and I yeah, by itself, I can't, you know, in the morning. I mean, and not all the time, but you know, chorizo and eggs, phenomenal. Like if you want to talk about breakfast burrito, like what meat would you add to a breakfast taco or burrito? I'd have to.
I will say there's a little diner, maybe 20 minutes from my place here. So if you're ever in the St. Louis area, you know, hit me up, and they have the, you know, around here at least, the best breakfast tacos. It's chorizo with scrambled egg and cheese. You hit it with a little bit of salsa and sour cream on top, and it's just lights out. It's amazing.
I'll hold you to that.
Yep. So, all right. Well, there we go. We now know chorizo's the one that goes.
The One Must Go segment was brought to you by United Cigars. United we smoke.
Okay. So now we're going to get into the Villiger Entertainment segment. And guys, if you haven't tried Villiger Cigars, you can head on over to their website. They have a store locator where you can find stores that have them. They've got some great stuff that's premiering at the PCA show in a couple weeks as well. So you're going to want to be on the lookout for that, and try them. I really like them. They're good cigars. Normally in the Villiger Entertainment segment, we would talk about, you know, what movies, TV shows, podcasts, whatever kind of entertainment you've been consuming, because people like to get recommendations for this kind of stuff. And so, but I haven't really consumed a lot this week because I have been extremely busy, and so I haven't really watched anything. So I have an alternative. If you are in the same boat as I am, I don't know if you have anything that you want to hype up, any shows, movies, anything like that you feel like hyping up.
Well, if we're talking just shows,
yeah, whatever. Any, you know, like I said, books, podcasts, entertainment, whatever.
Yeah, you know, I just got done watching, and it's been out for a while, but Norseman. It's a kind of spoof Viking.
Okay, so it's like a comedy.
Yeah, a comedy on Netflix.
Okay.
And the first couple episodes, I was like, it seems kind of forced, and you know, just not for me. But then went back to it, and boy, did it got good. It got really good. Okay. I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
I'll have to look for that. I haven't heard of that one yet. So
yeah, check it out.
All right.
Sure.
So, since, like I said, I don't really have anything for this segment because I haven't watched anything this week, I'm going to do a super fight. Now, explaining what a super fight is to you. Super fight is a very random fight where basically I'm going to give you two opponents, and they're going to have two attributes, and you have to we have to suss out who's going to win this fight. Okay. So on one side, we have a college a cappella group that can turn invisible, while singing show tunes, but they can't stop clapping. So they're invisible, but they're singing and they're clapping. All right.
Okay.
And on the other side, you have a pirate. He's armed with a machine gun, but he has tiny T-Rex arms. So these little tiny arms have to manage this machine gun and the recoil from it.
Okay.
I like this segment. It gets really fucking stupid.
So you're saying who would win in a battle?
Who would win in a fight? If a pirate with a machine gun and tiny T-Rex arms went up against a college a cappella group that can turn invisible while singing show tunes but can't stop clapping.
I don't know. How large is the a cappella group?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what an average
20.
I don't know what an average a cappella group consists of.
Yeah, I'm not up to date on my a cappella.
And the card doesn't say. So
so I would think, like, if they can't stop clapping, then really they can only do maybe some headbutting, kicking. The pirate,
exactly. He's got that machine gun, but those little tiny arms.
Well, yeah, but if they're like Popeye arms, you might be able to hold on to the machine gun.
But they're T-Rex arms. They're the little dinky T-Rex arms.
Yeah, they're little dinky T-Rex. So they're in tight, but if he holds on to it, it's a really strong T-Rex arm. I mean, T-Rex wasn't. I'd have to go with the pirate. A couple shots. I would go because.
I would think the pirate too, just because he's got the machine gun. And let's be real, even though they're invisible while they're singing show tunes, you can figure out where they're at based upon the sound of the clapping and singing.
Right.
Potentially.
Right. And they can't. It's not like they can punch you because they have to clap.
No, you got to clap. No, you make a valid point. So.
Now, all right. Like ninja acapella. Maybe they got maybe they got some martial arts skills. Maybe flying kicks, Superman knee,
kick to the little T-Rex arm, throw him off his game with the machine gun. I don't know. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
valid.
But I think we're leaning towards pirate with the machine gun.
I think we're leaning towards pirate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. So we got that under control. All right, this is going to be the point.
Under control, but we answered it.
We answered it. So okay, all right. So this is the point in the show now that it's just video only while I change the buttons on the board. So this is the point where you can say whatever you want. It's just going to be the YouTube people that actually hear it. So I don't know. So what's your summer been like so far? We're what, a couple weeks into summer. You've been traveling a lot.
Summer, I don't even know what summer is anymore. No, I was traveling, but for June, I really took some time to get geared up for PCA. So I was, I don't know, might have been end of May. I was in, I went from Dallas for a couple events to. I did a couple events with Blue Smoke in Dallas, then up to Frisco, Texas for our Atabay Lounge. Did a members event there because they expanded their Atabay Lounge to their members. And then from there I went to PA, drove around Philly and Jersey for a while with our representative up there. And then from Philly, where did I go? I went to Kansas City. I was in Kansas City with our rep out there. And then from Kansas City, I think I was finally home for a week, and then I went out to Chicago for a couple events, and then came home. And I think I landed on a Friday morning, and then my son had then he graduated high school. And
that's awesome.
And then that led us right into June, and I got a ton of stuff to catch up on.
There we go. Well, we'll come back now to the actual recorded show. And for those of you who missed that, go on over to the YouTube and figure out where this is at in the show. And you can find out where Oliver has been for the last, couple of months. All right. Well, now we're getting into the next segment here.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. And this is where you can give a shout out to a cigar that 3 cigars that you smoked and you dug this week. Kind of putting you on the spot. I don't know if you maybe remember over the last week 3 different cigars that you smoked and you really dug, but you want to go first?
Yeah, well, look, it's always, I mean, I don't know if it's a challenge, But yeah, I just smoked the Red Anchor. So you know, you may know. I think we've talked about it before. My son just graduated high school.
Yeah.
You know, big into baseball. He'll be playing in college next year. But he's part of this summer collegiate league. So he's playing up a little bit. So it was a little challenge to go from high school to this collegiate men's league. And you know, so he's had a little bit of an adjustment, but I'm able to go to the stadiums now, and they're not on high school grounds, so I can smoke a cigar.
Oh, that's nice.
So I can enjoy a cigar on Tuesday night, Thursday night, and double headers on Sunday. And so with that said, just on Tuesday, I smoked the Red Anchor Admiral. Once again, it's just I absolutely love that line. It's there's you know, if you're not looking for anything that has too much spice, but you want some good body and some good just mouthfeel and just some depth to it, I would say the Red Anchor is, you know, right up your alley. So the Red Anchor for me is my first one that I wanted to mention.
All right. Well, my first one is actually one that I smoked on last Friday's show, and it was, ironically enough, the EP Carrillo Pledge. It's one that I've had before. I really dug it, and I had one with me, so we smoked that on last Friday's show with Pinky, and so I'm really looking forward to this Firecracker because I want to, you know, I dig the Pledge, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what the littler size and condensed down flavor and everything like that does to the blend.
Yeah, it's a powerhouse.
Perfect.
Sure.
So that's my first one. What's your second one?
Well, I'll say my second one. Yesterday, as the product was shipping, I was smoking the EPC Pledge Firecracker.
Well, there we go.
Lit that up first thing in the morning. It was fantastic. You know, it brought me back because I hadn't smoked one, you know, after the samples. You know, because the boxes they're all limited. We only did 1,000 boxes with them. So you know, it's a very limited run. They go out to our United Firecracker retailers. So everything started to ship out on Monday. So I was able to grab one, and I lit that up Monday morning, first thing in the office.
Perfect. Well, my second one is one that I had while driving the other day, and it was the Sancho Panza, the Extra Fuerte. It was the sun-grown one. And the Sancho Panza, they came back out. It was sometime last year, and they were reblended by Matt Booth after he had gone over to General and or Forge, however that was done. You know what I mean? But anyway, he helped out with the Sancho Panza cigars, and the Extra Fuerte, right? Extra Fuerte. I'm looking at the band here. I have to take pictures because otherwise I don't remember. Extra Fuerte. It's the sun-grown one, and I really dig it. It's got great flavor, and it burned great. It was a very nice cigar for a drive home from St. Louis, and I really dug it. So that's my second one. What's your final one for this week?
Nice. Well, to go in line with what you're smoking now. Yesterday was Flag Day, June 14th.
Yeah.
So that's the birthday of the American flag, and on June 14th, 1777. So we with you know, Baird Duplius, El Oso Fumar, he did this, had this idea to do 20 days of United Cigars from Flag Day counting down to the 4th of July. So Flag Day, I smoked the United in the round, the natural, and with the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Smoked that yesterday, and I'm going to be smoking United for the next 20 days, leading up to the 4th of July, our independence, to then light up the Firecracker.
Love it. That's a great little promotion there. The 20 days of United. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Join in if you want.
I might as well. Exactly. So my last one is one that I smoked the other day while laying out my newspaper for this week, and it was the McAuliffe Black. And I'll tell you what, for the price point on that cigar and the amount of flavor and strength and everything in it, I'm looking forward to that one hitting more regularly in the area so that I can pick more up. That was a tasty cigar. So
they do a phenomenal job. They're a great company.
They do, and I know
Good
the
people.
guys on the Cigar Authority have kind of talked a little bit about, you know, the importance of pricing and everything these days. You know, it's an affordable cigar, and that's one of the things also regarding United that I think is really great. You guys, like you said, you have something from $2 to $75, but
Right.
you know, by and large, most of your offerings are very affordable, you know, for the average everyday smoker.
Yeah, we try to keep it, you know, within range. You know, yeah, I mean, like you pointed out, we have everything from you know, the $2 range all the way up to you know, 75. So we have something for every pocket, and every day. You know, the guy that is smoking a United around the $8-9 range, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the pockets to enjoy an Atabey or Byron, you know, on another day. So there's just a wide range in the portfolio, and in fact, what I didn't mention earlier is our with JRE with you know, the guys over at Aladino. We do the Abuelo.
Abuelo, yes, I love the
so,
Abuelo.
You know, also down in Honduras, but amazing you know, Corojo tobacco that we're, I mean, absolutely, you know, humbled to have as part of the portfolio. So the Abuelo is a fantastic you know, Honduran blend.
I actually bought a box of those when I was out at Two Guys in September, and I just smoked the last one from that box a couple of days ago. So I stretched it out as long as I could, but you know, it was just one of those things. I love that cigar. I know Dave put the I think there were samples of it in one of the Cigars Authority show packs, and so that everyone could kind of try like a pre-release kind of sample of it. And we didn't know what it was. And then it was announced what it was, and he put the cigar back in the pack so that we could try it after it was banded and announced and everything. And so I got it a couple of different times that way. And but it was one of those ones that I knew when I was coming out to the anniversary party and going to be doing some shopping, I was like, I'm going home with Abuelos for sure.
There you go. Yeah, they did you know, again, you know, working with Justo, you know, they do a fantastic job, and I didn't get a chance to travel down to the factory, but you know, he's up here quite a bit, and we just went over different blends, and you know, that just worked out.
Fantastic. Well, why don't we now hear from hear about My Monthly Cigars. This would normally be the time that I give some information about My Monthly Cigars, but I've hired that out this week, so take it away.
My Monthly Cigars is a premium cigar subscription service. It comes in a variety of different size boxes at affordable prices. Use offer code PULPIT and get free shipping on your first box and 20% off any items in the online store at mymonthlycigars.com.
That's offer code PULPIT. Thanks. And guys, don't forget about the fucking good coffee over there at My Monthly Cigars. Nick's got that fucking good coffee on his website, and I know you can get that along with the cigars while you're over there, and you know, enjoy the coffee with your cigars. It's great. So, as we're wrapping up, anything that you want to tell the listeners that maybe I haven't touched on, or anything that you want to express?
No, I mean, just, you know, touching on, you know, on the good stuff, you know, spreading the good word to live that United lifestyle. And best way to do that is to grab something United. But no, always excited for this time of year. You know, we have the Firecracker that, you know, makes a big push on social media, which we appreciate a ton. You know, it keeps my 4th of July, you know, right around there. Very busy, very active. You know, we run a couple promos sometimes online with, you know, different groups, but it's a great time of year. So I'm excited to get the you know, the United Firecracker Black Bomb on the market to offer a different wrapper and slightly different blend to the consumers out there. And just excited to get to the PCA show and kind of get through, you know, scary to say, I think we talked about it before the show, but get through July. But then after that, it's, you know, it's August, and well, there goes the summer.
There he goes. Well, Oliver, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day today to come on and talk about everything exciting that's going on over at United Cigars and everything. I know you've got a lot geared, to do before the trade show, and it's always nice to catch up.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate you taking the time, and always great to sit with you and Cigar Pulpit people.
There we go. And regarding the United Cigar in the round here, it's been a very good, clean and smooth, cigar or smoke. Little spice on the retrohale. Starting to get just a little bit of tingles on the tongue, as I'm getting down past the halfway point, edging into that final third of it, just a little bit going on there. And, but it's just a fantastic cigar. I mean, the draw on it's fantastic. Smoke production's been great. My burn line, despite some wind coming through here in my little studio here, it's been razor tight. So I've been really, really digging the cigar. And I really, just as, like I said, as somebody who enjoys round cigars versus box pressed, I'm really happy you guys made the switch.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Well, thank you.
It means a lot. Yeah. No, that means a lot.
Well, Oliver, where can everybody follow you and United Cigars on the socials?
So on social, we're at United Cigars. You can find us. You can find us out there, and like I said, this for the next 20 days, anybody that wants to join and jump on board, just smoke something out of the United portfolio. Just do hashtag 20, the number 20 days of United Cigars, and just tag us, and be a part of the the countdown.
Fantastic. And guys, you can follow me on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit, and on Facebook you can join the Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a great group, and everybody's sharing what they're smoking and giving each other crap and everything in there. It's a lot of fun. Twitter, I'm on there. I don't really do a whole lot, but I'm still convinced that that's probably going to be the last refuge of the damned if Facebook and Instagram decide to pull the plug on cigar related content. I think Twitter might be our saving grace if they actually do the free speech stuff that they've been promoting. We're on YouTube where you can watch this, and then we do need your calls for the Ask the Boys episode at the end of the month. This month, Mr. Jonathan from the Cigar Authority is going to join me. So if you have some cigar expert questions, get those in by calling the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. Oliver, thank you so much for taking time out, man. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you, my man.
Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. And that's Oliver.
I'm Oliver.
Sorry, I didn't give you the key. Anyway, stay safe and stay smoky, everybody. That's okay. Oh. Anyway.